Imagine coming home from work one day to find out that your wife wasn't really your wife. She's standing in the kitchen making dinner. She looks basically normal, except something is definitely off. She moves in a strange way, lacking her characteristic grace. She doesn't greet you as she usually does, and when she serves your favourite dinner, you realise she's cooked it in a different way using odd ingredients. It no longer tastes like a meal that your wife would make. As you eat, she doesn't make familiar conversation with you. As you study her closely, you notice that she lacks her usual table manners, and though she's wearing her normal clothes and looks like herself, there's definitely something off about her. The closer you look, the more you notice the slight incongruities, a strangeness to the texture of her skin, the unusual style of her hair, until you think you can see a seam running up her neck and behind her ear. You become convinced that her face is a mask that something else is wearing. The more you look, the more you realise that something is actually wearing your wife's skin. But what's worse is that this thing is actively pretending to be your wife. It expects you to play along. The thing wearing your wife's skin is trying to fulfill the exact role of your wife. After dinner, it collects your plate and tries to kiss you. Would you kiss it? And when you won't kiss it, it looks at you resentfully and asks, "Don't you love your wife?" Of course you don't love whatever this thing is. You know it isn't your wife, but whatever it is, it expects you to love it like it is your wife. And you know that under the surface, it just isn't her. And when you confront it about being an imposter, it says, "I'm wearing your wife's face. I'm making you dinner. We can go to bed and make love. I am your wife in all external appearances, and I'm fulfilling the same functions. You should love me." On what grounds can you even object to this? Nothing purely material, surely. After all, whatever has replaced your wife has taken the time and care it can to look identical to the woman that you love. This thing is also performing all of the necessary functions of your wife as well. Even if these things don't have the exact tone and texture of the things that your wife did, it's hard to muster a firm argument that without the exact taste of your wife's spaghetti bolognese, your wife isn't your wife. Surely this isn't good enough. Even if the alien thing could mimic your wife in every way, there is some essential component that is missing. Something in the core of it that, despite all the external trappings, is required for it to be your real wife. The uniqueness of her character, that which we might call her soul. Whatever this thing is, wearing a skin suit of your wife, it isn't her, and more importantly, it doesn't seem to understand that the person you love is not replaceable. You can't simply look similar and act similarly in order to replace her. She is unique, particular, and irreplaceable. For both her strengths and her faults are part of the life you've made together. And now this thing, whatever it is trying to take part in that. It is trying to fool you into accepting it as someone with whom you have a passionate, loving relationship. But it isn't, and you don't. It is an intruder and a murderer. And so you have to ask yourself why. Why is this alien thing trying to sneak into something that it has no place being a part of? Why would it think that it is acceptable to murder and replace that unique and special thing? The woman you love is precious to you. She holds a place in your heart that no one else can fill. And this thing, wherever it is, and whatever it is, sees that and is jealous. It wants to be the thing that you love, but it will never be. And instead of trying to build its own relationship with you through honesty and trust, it is instead trying to sneak into your life by subverting, expunging, and replacing something that you hold most dear. And once you figure it out, it expects you to play along. They know that you know that they are an imposter, yet pretend that you are still bound by the rules laid down by the relationship between you and the person you love. This is deeply sinister. Why would someone try to trick you with this inauthentic scam? Why would you wear this person's face and try to make me love you? Because you have murdered it and worn its skin as your own. Why would you think that anyone would accept that? This is what it's like watching a woke remake of your favorite piece of entertainment. The relationship with those pieces of entertainment that form your character is like a relationship with a person. It is your relationship with what it presented itself to be. You loved the thing for its essential character, and once that changes, people can feel it. The purpose is no longer about the relationship with the audience, it is now to promote an agenda. And once this is identified, it is expected that you should continue on as if nothing had happened. We know you have taken over another beloved property. We know you're wrapping its face around your intrusive ideology. We know you're trying to make us love you. But we don't and we won't, because you aren't the real thing. You lack that fundamental essence with which we fell in love in the first place. You have come along with a foreign agenda. You are not the thing we love. This is something outside of the purpose of the property you are subverting. You can claim to be empowering women, representing minorities, or normalizing mental illnesses, whatever it doesn't matter what it is, because we were in love with something magical and unique. We had a relationship with the thing whose skin you are wearing. And no matter how pretty you look or how many dinners you make us, you will always be a fraud. You will never be loved by us because you don't understand why people love. You think it's acceptable to infiltrate the private relationships of others and demand to be a part of them. You think you can trick someone into loving you. Anyone who thinks that is acceptable is not worthy of love because they don't understand. If you can't respect us, we can't love you. I know what the progressive response to this rejection will be. It's as predictable as the rising and the setting of the sun. You hate women. You hate minorities. You hate trans people. No, none of those things are true. What people hate is being lied to. What people hate is inauthenticity. What people hate is being the target of someone else's nefarious intent.